Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to jump right into the really dynamic world of education technology, EdTech. Specifically, we're looking at the key trends that seem poised to, well, really define learning in 2025 and probably beyond. And to guide us, we've gathered some pretty solid sources for you. We're pulling insights from the Digital Learning Institute's Education Technology Trends to Watch in 2025, plus recent news from Google's Workspace team specifically that Gemini in Google Classroom is now available. That's a big one. And also a really interesting piece from Forbes. Google overhauls its education suite with free, powerful AI for all. And finally, Google's own take from their ISTE 2025 post, celebrating the art of teaching and the science of learning. So quite a mix. Our mission today really is to boil down the most important bits from all these sources, give you a shortcut to understanding what's coming in digital learning without, getting bogged down. Believe me, the scale here is huge. Just think about the global edtech market. It's projected to hit almost 600 billion US dollars by 2032. That's with an annual growth rate over 17%. I mean, this isn't just market growth. It's about fundamentally rethinking learning. And things like AI, gamification, immersive VR, and AR, they're quickly moving from niche ideas to, well, mainstream tools.
That's a really good way to put it. And what's so fascinating, I think, is that these technologies aren't just, new gadgets. They're actually changing the core of how we teach, how we learn, and even how we connect with information itself. For educators, for L&D folks, these trends are genuinely exciting. They offer new ways to engage learners, support them. Pretty impactful stuff. Moving beyond just passively receiving information to active personalized discovery.
Okay, that's a great starting point. So looking across these sources you mentioned, where do you see the biggest shifts happening right now? Is there one trend that really jumps out? Maybe something about personalizing learning?
Oh, absolutely. AI is, without a doubt, number one, especially in personalized learning. It's kind of the unstoppable force everyone's talking about. You see platforms like Squirrel AI, Microsoft's Reading Coach. They're changing how teachers understand their students. They can analyze strengths, weaknesses, even preferred learning styles with, well, incredible accuracy. What that really means for you listening, whether you're a student or teacher, is you can get programs and content tailored exactly to an individual's pace, their specific needs. It's almost like having a personal tutor for every single student, and the benefits are just huge. It helps make sure no student gets left behind, right? It lets teachers make really targeted interventions when someone's struggling, and it really seems to boost engagement, motivation, and ultimately how much students retain. Especially for online learners, it makes the whole journey much more adaptive.
That does sound powerful and, like you said, impactful. It's not just theory either. That Forbes article mentioned a pretty striking stat. 60% of educators are already using AI daily in their classrooms. And that number is expected to jump significantly. So how much of this recent surge is down to those big announcements from the ISTE conference, in San Antonio, end of June, particularly from Google?
Yeah, that AST conference was definitely a turning point. Mostly because of Google's big move, integrating Gemini AI across their whole Workspace for Education suite. And the key thing, making it free for all editions. I mean, think about that scale. Millions of teachers, millions of students worldwide suddenly have direct access to a top-tier AI model. And they even get higher usage limits than regular consumers. It's not just an update, it's like democratizing powerful AI for education. And here's something really critical, especially for schools worried about data privacy. Google was very clear again that they will not use educational account data to train their AI models. They even got that common sense media privacy certification recently. That's a big deal, coming from a major nonprofit focused on kids' tech safety. It should really help ease those privacy concerns for administrators.
Yeah, that privacy commitment is huge. Definitely reassuring. So, okay, let's bring it down to the classroom level. What does this practically look like for a teacher day to day? What are they seeing now with these new AI tools?
All right, so in Google Classroom, teachers now see a new Gemini tab. You can think of it like an AI command center. It offers something like over 30 tools specifically designed for education tasks, things that usually eat up a lot of time. For example, teachers can now generate entire lesson plans, from scratch, or build vocabulary lists complete with example sentences, craft math problems, quizzes tailored to what they're teaching, even draft emails to parents. And there are prompts to help them gamify lessons too, make things more engaging. Google's own words are about giving teachers their time back so they can focus more on the art of teaching, that human connection, the guidance that AI can't replace.
That really could change how teachers spend their energy. That's significant. I also saw there's a new premium tier, Google AI Pro for Education. Sounds like it offers deeper AI stuff like audio lessons generated by AI, more content tools. But it's not just for teachers, right? Google's also pushing out some pretty major AI tools for students. What's the story there?
Absolutely. The student side is equally, maybe even more, revolutionary. NotebookLM, for instance. It's that AI research and study assistant. It's now available for students under 18 through their school accounts. And importantly, it comes with built-in content safety layers for younger users. That really changes how students can engage with information, synthesize it. And then there are these things called gems. Think of them as customizable versions of Gemini, built around very specific learning goals. An instructional leader could create gems and share them across the whole district. So like a teacher could design a gem trained only on their class materials. It becomes a personalized Socratic tutor for homework help. And these tools, they plug right into Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, so the workflow should be pretty smooth.
Okay, so with NotebookLM and Gems, users can generate interactive study guides, audio overviews, even AI-generated video overviews from study materials. Wow. Plus, teachers tagging coursework with learning standards, getting analytics back. That's a big leap for personalized feedback. And this all feeds into that idea of AI-assisted content creation and curation, which our sources called revolutionary. How's that playing out?
Oh, it's totally changing the game. Tools like ChatGPT, Synthesia, Learn AI, they let educators create really high-quality materials super fast. Lesson plans, multimedia resources, interactive quizzes, you name it. And they could pull relevant content from all over the web with just, a few clicks. It saves a massive amount of time and helps ensure materials are current. Less time searching, more time actually teaching.
And for creativity, Google Vids is now available for all education users. That sounds like a great opportunity, too.
It really is. Teachers can create quick instructional videos, simplify tricky concepts, make learning more visual, more engaging, and students, they can produce their own projects, video book reports, science presentations, much more dynamic stuff. And it's all built to work seamlessly with Drive and Classroom, so it lowers the barrier for everyone to create and use video.
Okay, so AI is clearly massive, dominating the conversation, really. But the edtech world is bigger than just AI. Let's maybe zoom out a bit. What are some of the other big trends shaping how we learn and teach? Beyond the AI focus, where should we look next?
Well, connecting to that idea of engagement, gamification and immersive learning like VR and AR they're literally opening up new worlds. Imagine students visiting ancient Rome, or exploring, say, the human heart from the inside, or practicing complex procedures safely. These things offer really memorable hands-on experiences, safe spaces to practice skills. And like you touched on earlier, the VR and AR gear is getting cheaper. So more schools can actually start using it. It's not just for fancy labs anymore. And gamification, its power to engage isn't new, but the tools are getting better. Things like Class Dojo with scavenger hunts, quizzes, leaderboards, they really change the feel of digital learning. Make it more dynamic, more fun, less like homework, more like a challenge.
Makes total sense. Anything that makes learning stickier, right?
Okay, so beyond immersive stuff, there's another big driver. Flexibility, just the need for it. How are learning models changing to meet people's different needs? That's a really key trend. Hybrid learning, flexible models, blending face-to-face with online learning. It offers the best of both worlds, as they say. It caters to different preferences, different schedules, makes learning accessible anytime, anywhere, which is crucial for people balancing education with jobs or families or whatever else. It's about meeting learners where they are, basically.
And for recognizing skills. These micro-credentials and digital badges seem to be popping up more.
They absolutely are gaining traction. These online certs are becoming a respected way to validate specific skills or knowledge chunks. They let students show off their achievements in a more dynamic way than just a transcript, and pursue learning paths that line up better with specific career goals. More institutions, more employers are recognizing them. It's about showing what you can do.
Right. Now, this next one seems really interesting for teachers. The power of data. Using student data insights to actually change teaching.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Learning analytics, basically collecting and analyzing student data, performance, behaviors, outcomes. But the real innovation here is adaptive teaching. It's not just about tracking grades, it's using those insights to actually inform how you teach, to spot learning gaps early, provide really personalized support, making sure every student gets the help they need to succeed. That 2024 EDU cause study confirmed how vital analytics are becoming for improving teaching.
And for keeping those credentials safe and verifiable, blockchain is emerging.
Exactly. Blockchain tech is offering a much more secure, transparent way to manage educational records. It creates this safe, tamper-proof digital ledger, so you can verify academic records easily, authenticate them without question, helps ensure integrity, prevents fraud, and it makes things simpler for employers or other schools checking credentials later on. Less paperwork, more trust.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly to the more practical side. Classroom management tech, device capabilities. What's happening there?
Google's making some moves here too, with class tools for managed Chromebooks. It's a new teaching mode giving teachers real-time control, like broadcasting instructions with live captions that get translated automatically. That's huge for multilingual classes or students with hearing impairments. Teachers can also share a student's screen in real time, see what they're doing, or show good work to the class. And there's a focus mode locks devices onto specific websites or apps. Helps cut down distractions during quiet work time. And on the hardware side, we're seeing things like the first Chromebook Plus with a dedicated NPU, a neural processing unit. That's for speeding up on-device AI tasks. Makes things faster, more responsive. And new Chromebox units, these OPS units, that let schools basically turn their existing smartboards into Chrome OS teaching stations, upgrading infrastructure without replacing everything.
It's really clear technology is weaving itself into every part of education now, which must bring up other considerations too, like ethics, environmental impact.
Yes, definitely. That's becoming a much bigger part of the conversation. The edtech world is starting to embrace, greener practices. Sustainability, you see it in energy-efficient learning platforms, the big push towards digital textbooks instead of paper, virtual labs reducing material waste. It's all part of trying to shrink education's carbon footprint.
And what about the social side? Digital learning can sometimes feel isolating, can't it?
That's a really important point, yeah. And social learning platforms are trying to address that directly. They build in opportunities for collaboration, for interaction, peer-to-peer learning, discussion forums, group projects. The goal is to foster a sense of community, which is vital. It fights that isolation and actually improves learning outcomes when students help each other.
And inevitably, as we rely more on digital tools, especially with student data, cybersecurity has to be top of mind.
Oh, absolutely paramount. Non-negotiable, really. Protecting sensitive student data, ensuring the learning environments themselves are secure. It's more critical than ever. You're seeing edtech companies investing heavily in robust security, encryption, multi-factor authentication, better threat detection. They have to.
So, looking at this whole picture, it's incredibly exciting, so many opportunities, but we should also be realistic about the challenges, shouldn't we? It's not all smooth sailing.
That's exactly right. It's exciting, yes, but there are definite hurdles. First, the digital divide is still very real. Not everyone has equal access to good internet or the devices needed for these advanced tools, especially in underserved areas. That risks making inequality worse. Then there's the challenge of teacher training and just adaptability. You can't just drop new tech into a classroom. Teachers need ongoing support, professional development, not just to use the tools, but to shape them, make sure AI aligns with their teaching values. And let's be honest, many schools just don't have the latest hardware. That's a big barrier to taking advantage of these upgrades.
You've painted such a clear, comprehensive picture for us today. It really does feel like a transformative moment for EdTech in 2025. All these trends aiming to improve outcomes, make learning more accessible, more engaging, more personalized. It's quite something. And the consensus seems clear, right? Experts agree that AI, VRR, personalized learning, these are becoming the new standard.
Yeah, and if you connect it back to that Google perspective, they talk about the magic of learning. Finding it at that intersection between the art of teaching, the human connection, the guidance, and the science of learning, the research-backed ways to help students grow. So maybe the question for you listening is, how can you embrace that intersection? How can you use these tools to amplify the human element in your own learning or teaching?
That's a great way to think about it. So here's a final thought to leave you with. As AI starts automating more tasks, making education feel more turnkey, maybe, how will your role as a learner or an educator need to evolve? How do you harness these incredibly powerful tools effectively and ethically? Because the AI era in education, it's definitely here. The question now is, what does that mean for you?